Can you hear me now, though, too? Perfect. Perfect. All right, so I've got the recorder. Bing. One last thing here. All right. Oh, it's not super urgent. It's just super tiny for me. Doesn't really help any. But all right, here we go. Recording and action. All right. Hello, everybody. We are here on week 4. Sort of the lead up to the big writing week, which is week 5. So this week we have I'll go over the discussion posts that you need to do, and then I'll go over the main assignment, which is actually a PowerPoint presentation about logical fallacies, which they talk all about and which I will also talk about. All right, so here we go. Let me just use this one instead because it seems to be clearer. And I'll try to make it bigger. Oops. Oh, this is the percentage one. Okay. Just download it in case I want to show it bigger than that. All right, so week 4 discussion. Here is the idea. There are 2 main posts that you're going to make, 2 paragraphs basically, similar to last post. So the first one is you are evaluating an argumentative point that you find in this part of the book. So 469 to 494. In fact, I was going to show people what those are, and I think we'll be sort of doing this for a few more weeks too, meaning they're just short readings. They're like short persuasive readings. And so you're going to, let me see if they tell you to just pick one. Okay, good. Like I said, we do it a few times. So you're going to pick one of the readings and you're trying to focus in on some sort of technique that the person's using to argue, right? And you're not looking in the introduction paragraph, you're looking in the body paragraph. So how the author addresses an argumentative point in the body of the article, right? So you don't care about the introduction, you're looking for sort of the middle. And it's 469, okay. Okay, so we have these 2 things. So laws and rights, gun control, and immigrant debate. Okay, so you scroll down, with pre-reading. Okay, so this is where you get to it. This is one article. Allowing guns on campus will invite tragedies, not end them. And then there's the authors. And they give a bunch of information up here, but it only starts under here. This is where the article starts, right? So you're reading this article, so it's not very long, and you're trying to find in the body paragraph some argument technique that you're going to analyze and discuss. So it's some way that they're trying to persuade people. The way they put it, well, they give some examples, right? Like using logic, let me see if I have it on this one better. Like demonstrates a range of strategies like logic, refutation, author's voice. So those are things. So for example, if you had you in an article, there was a part where they brought up the opposing side and then shot it down. That's a refutation, right? Or a counter argument. So you can pull that out. You can pull. It doesn't say you have to quote it, but I would just do that. Pull maybe the part where they do that, and then you're explaining what it is they did. Let me make sure. Let's make sure I'm not skipping any of their instructions. Because I always condense things, right, for the presentation. So you definitely always want to look at the actual assignment for the details, right? So this is the main part about this is you're picking an argumentative strategy, something that the person does that helps them be persuasive. And then these are the questions that you're going to answer in the paragraph that you're writing. In what way do you see the author's voice being used? How does their own voice drive the argument and frame the argument? So sometimes you can usually pick up on people's voices, like the tone that somebody uses. Like it's almost like they have more personality than somebody else. So that comes through, and so it's pretty strong. What does the author use to support the point, like the main argument? So these are all the questions, and does it contain logical fallacies, which I can talk about in a minute. So that's all part of the first paragraph. So you pick one of the readings, and there's more readings than just that one, right? You can look in. I need to get this out. I don't see here. Where are we? Chapter 20. I'm clicking on that. There's all of these readings. So there's like 5 or 6. So you're picking one of them, and you're basically sort of analyzing it, and you're going to analyze it talking about the different things that the person does to be to persuade people, the support that they use, if their voice comes through, and so on. So that's the first one. So I think they're calling it an analysis, even though it's sort of short of that, I think. Second part. So you've got your first part, where you're picking one article, not the and then you're looking in the body paragraph to find a place where they show some strategy that they're using, right, to help. Like, are they using logic to persuade? Are they using a counter argument or a refutation where they bring up the other side to persuade? Or are they using their own voice? Like sometimes people be sarcastic or something. That's what an author's voice is like, right? So if someone's being sarcastic or making little jibes, that's an author's voice. And that can be used to persuade people too, right? And it could also be used to not persuade them, or in any event. So then the second thing, so the second paragraph is the most important part in my mind, because it's actually you writing a paragraph for your essay. Okay, so not the introduction paragraph. Everybody's tempted to write the introduction paragraph and just go. So instead of that, what you want, you're writing a body paragraph. And so what that means is you want to pick one of the points that you're going to make and then turn that into a paragraph. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is like a little template that I use to explain paragraphs, essentially how they should be put together, body paragraphs especially. So basically, you want a topic sentence that makes an argument statement, right? Because topic sentences are like mini thesis statements for the paragraph. So they're making a little argument. they're making a point. What I tell people to do is to use the word because that sort of forces people to create a complete argument statement. So that's what the topic sentence is. Let me show you something that I will move, that I've moved. So this is the group page that I keep moving in case people want to have me look at their thesis statements and so on. So here's the big thesis statement for my essay. I'm pretending I made it up, right? So the United States must immediately cease burning fossil fuels because the ability of humans to continue living on Earth is in real danger. That's my very big topic. So I use because for my thesis statement also. Over here, I have my three main points that I'm going to develop in my essay. And I still use the word because, right? So, in order to make a drastic shift, we need to shut down sectors of the American economy in a logical and systematic way. I could just leave it there, but when you put because, it sort of forces you to finish the thought, finish the argument. Because this will reduce emissions and give people time to make the transition to cleaner energy. So apparently, I'm going to try to make some argument that there needs to be a plan where we basically shut down different sectors of the economy, not all at once, but like partially, and then convert over to green energy and then something like that. So the paragraph that I'm going to do for the discussion board is one of these, right? These are three ideas that I have. So I'm going to turn one of them into a paragraph, a body paragraph. So it says, the government must lead this movement because they have the resources to hire the people from the shutdown sector to work on transitioning to cleaner energy. Okay, so I'm going to decide it's the government's job. So we shut down a sector. The government sort of supports people and also gets them working on transitioning from fossil fuels to cleaner energy. In any event, so what you need to do, or what you need to have in order to do the discussion post, is you need to have a supporting idea, right? So my thesis statement is broad. My supporting idea, I have three of them. That ultimately you want three. For this week, you only need to have one. So it's one of the points that you're going to make. So I have my topic sentence. So the next thing that happens is even in a paragraph, there's a supporting idea. So it's basically the next sentence is some sort of idea, an explanation of what you've just said, right? Trying to sort of clarify it, I guess. Maybe I'll put like clarifying idea. And it should serve as a bridge to a specific piece of evidence. Of course, I'm making all of this up, right? Because God knows if I could make this argument. It seems a little extreme to me. I mean, it's exactly what would need to happen if we were going to like actually have a shot, I think. But I don't know. But I'm not. I know I'm not just. I'm optimistic. on some days. So here's the thing, right? So I have my main topic sentence, which is in the form of a little argument. So the government must lead this movement because they have the resources to hire the people from the shutdown sector to work on transitioning to cleaner energy. So I might change the second one. But anyway, in order for the economy to quickly and efficiently transition to greener energy, say it's repeating the same thing. So I think I was worried that people wouldn't get it, so I was going to say the same thing. Um, okay, so the idea is for this discussion post, the second one, the second paragraph, you're writing your own paragraph that's eventually, hopefully, goes into your essay, but it's a body paragraph. And this is my little chart for the body paragraph. You need a main idea, which is your topic sentence, and you want to use the word because. So I have the government must lead this movement. Ugh, I would need to make that clearer, though. Transition, maybe. I always want to be clear. Like, whenever I'm writing, I just want the things to, like, people to understand them without having to, like, remember back to something that I referred to before. Like, so I always try to make sure that, like, anything I'm writing can sort of stand on its own. It's not like, well, if you read the thing right before this, like, people can't really remember things well. So, must lead this transition to cleaner energy. That's what I'll do. The government must lead this transition to cleaner energy because they have the resources to hire people from the shutdown sectors to work on transitioning to cleaner energy. That's my topic sentence. My primary supporting idea, or one of them, will be in order for the economy to quickly and efficiently transition to greener energy, the government needs to put millions of dollars into creating a new greener infrastructure. All right. So what I've done is I have my topic sentence, I have a supporting idea, and that is supposed to lead me right up to my first actual piece of evidence. Right? So if it's information, if it's like data or statistics, since I just talked about money, I can talk about there's a bunch of things I could use. I could say, well, this is how much money the government spends on the military per year. If they use a fraction of that, they'll be able to, create a whole manufacturing sector who are making solar panels or whatever. So I can use money, that kind of information. But no matter what, it's some sort of evidence. And evidence, there's many kinds of evidence, actually, right? So I lead up to it, I bring it in, I explain my evidence. Actually, I have a little sheet about evidence that I'll put up. Let me just write my note to myself. So, like, I have this just sheet that shows different types of evidence. Like, it's very condensed. And so I'll put that in the discussion area. See types of document. Okay, so that's just for me. I insert and explain evidence that helps support what I'm saying, right? So the government needs, so I should probably prove the government has a lot of money and they can use it to do something, since that's what I'm saying here. And that they can use it to set up manufacturing. If I could probably find other places or other events where the government spent a lot of money to build something, quickly, or like to show that they have the ability to do things more quickly than we usually think. Something like that. Any information or real evidence like that would help me out. Insert and explain evidence that helps support the idea. Now, this is going to be for me. See evidence document. Let's put this somewhere else. So now the other thing to do, and I'm going to change up my little thing here. You can still keep going because this is maybe 4 sentences, right? A body paragraph, a good one probably has, I don't know, it depends on how long they are and all that, but like 6 sentences, something like that's pretty good. So one thing you can do is you can have another supporting idea here. So this is all still just dealing with one of my main supporting for my thesis, right? So here I am. Where's my thesis? Right. My thesis is still here. This is my whole big thesis. And then these are my 3 supporting points. All I'm still doing, I'm only really working on this number 2, right? And the way I'm doing it and making sure that I'm sort of doing it thoroughly is I'm presenting a supporting sentence, then using evidence to prove whatever I just said, and then I can repeat that pattern again. Right? So supporting idea number 2, I guess is what this would be. And then another piece of evidence, and then I could probably be done. Anyway, that's what I would do for a body paragraph. So you need the topic sentence. And again, you don't want to write an introduction. People are tempted to write an introduction, excuse me, just because it's like the first thing they're writing for their essay. You want to sort of not worry about that. Writing an introduction is way easier after you have most of the stuff anyway. So you want to just figure out what one of your main ideas is. I think that's going to be the thing. And that's why I'll put this, I keep putting this document up just to sort of bring it along with us for each week. In case people want to type in their thesis statement, and then I can comment on the document, right, and give suggestions. If you are having trouble identifying your 3 main supporting ideas, this is a good thing to do. You can put your thesis, you can give me one idea, you can type in, I don't know what my other ones are, and I can try to help you. So it's sort of like a feedback document for whenever anybody has a time, right? Because that's part of this. So whenever you get a chance, I would say go ahead and post your thesis as it is, if you have one, and then what you think your 3 main ideas are. And even if they're not fully complete with the word because, we can work on that part, right? But ultimately, you want a topic sentence that uses the word because and it sort of asserts an opinion, takes a stand. It's like a little mini argument. So that's what this document is for. Oh, I did try to post it right, but then the measurements are messed up. Okay. Oops.